Abigail is a thriller. The movie contains super elements such as escape room, werewolf killing, vampire, and so on. The plot ups and downs can be enough thrilling. The movie is about a group of robbers kidnapped the daughter of a wealthy man, expecting to demand a ransom of $15 million. However, to their shock, they had actually brought back an incredibly terrifying vampire. After losing to companions, they realized they had fallen into a trap, deliberately set up to lure them as prey for the vampire girl. Now, the entire house was completely sealed off, making escape nearly impossible. Fortunately, they knew various ways to deal with vampires, such as using garlic or crucifixes. Determined to survive, they gathered these items and prepared to strike first. When they entered the room, they found the vampire girl dancing ballet with a corpse. Furious at the sight, Sammy charged at her with garlic in hand. But this action enraged the vampire. As Sammy was tackled, the garlic she relied on turned out to be a joke. Seeing Sammy about to be killed, Peter and Frank rushed in as well. But with just one punch, Frank was incapacitated. Luckily, Peter still had some fight left in him, but before he could last even 2.5 seconds, the vampire had him pinned to the ground. She then grabbed the crucifix around his neck and started stabbing him frantically. Thus, their first attempt ended in complete failure. The vampire girl didn't kill them. It seemed she intended to toy with them as prey. Back in the hall, Joey performed some basic first aid on everyone and proposed an alternative plan. The tranquilizer they had used when they kidnapped the girl had been quite effective, and as luck would have it, he still had one dose left. After a brief rest, they set out again. However, this time, the girl was nowhere to be seen. Joey instructed everyone to spread out and look for any sign of her, promising to shout loudly if they found her. Despite searching everywhere, there was no trace of the girl. Sammy accidentally walked into a dilapidated house. As he cautiously explored, he was suddenly startled by a bat, causing him to panic and fall into a nearby pool. Struggling to get out, he was horrified to find the pool filled with corpses. Realizing they were not the first to be lured here as prey, Sammy's screams quickly drew the attention of Joey and the others, who rushed towards the sound. To their shock, Peter, terrified by the gruesome sight, bolted in a panic. However, after only a few steps, he was knocked down the stairs by Frank, who had suddenly opened a door. Fortunately, the fall wasn't fatal, as the floor wasn't very high. Seeing their prey slip away, the girl turned her attention to Frank. Moving with graceful steps, she charged at him. Frank, already injured in the leg, was so frightened that it tumbled down the stairs. Abigail approached him slowly, intending to make an example of him. Sammy, who had escaped, saw this scene and, after a moment's hesitation, rushed towards them, only to be bitten hard by Abigail. After dealing with Sammy, Abigail grabbed Frank by the leg, preparing to carry him away. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Peter regained his strength and pinned the vampire to the ground. Joey quickly injected the tranquilizer into her. Shortly thereafter, Abigail passed out. When she woke up, she found herself locked in a cage. Realizing that her captors couldn't escape, Abigail stopped hiding the truth. She admitted that it was she who had arranged for Lambert to deceive them, and that the kidnapping was just a game she had orchestrated. Moreover, her choice of victims wasn't random. Each of them had conflicts or grievances with her father's company. Abigail explained that her existence had always been considered a mistake by her father, and she did all this in a bid to gain his approval.